is sort of more of a in-class exercise than a quiz because we're so close to the end. And also Monday's going to be different than other days. I'll explain after we get done with today. So let's go ahead and give this one a go. And I realize that some of you might have been like, well, I didn't even do the homework yet. It's okay, you probably can figure it out. In fact, you probably can figure out half of it. We're going to go over this though. This will be kind of like in lieu of a lesson for today, is to do this quiz together. But I want to give you a chance to do it yourself first. So that doesn't look like Block Dude. There's two.
Is it true? I heard the last day of stats sticking coffee hours.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Wait, you heard this? How did you hear it? I don't know how you could have known that because I've only had that in my brain. I have not told anyone, but apparently someone, the problem is it's the Nazarene network. I've learned to fear the Nazarene network. Did I only give you one? I'll give you another one. I only give you one. There you go. Okay, do I have, everyone's got one? All right, good. So like I said, give this a go. Pretend it's a quiz. It's not really a quiz, but you'll have a similar question on your final, which is next Thursday. So might as well, try this now. You're the first person with an Apple device that I saw. Enjoy. Cleaning out my desk. I see ads for this all the time.
I had duty like for 5 days in a row and I didn't know what to do, so I downloaded it.
You succumbed to the advertising. And now have you spent $100 on gyms? Well, Jesus is starting to play video games, so I think it's time to at least go over some of this and see how you're doing. I should mention that first thing, I didn't notice that. I dug this out of my files from I think it was 2019, and I remember making this quiz. By the way, StatCrunch was just a plugin that we used to use back in the olden days with Excel. So just call it Excel. It's basically you probably didn't even notice that. The other thing I should mention is I remember doing this, that I just went to Netflix and I went through the suggestions of what they thought I should watch and took the first G movies, the first 15 of them, and then the first 15 PG movies that they listed, and so on. And surprisingly, they were suggesting R movies, even though I don't watch those usually, except for The Passion of the Christ. Actually, there's been a few others I've watched in my lifetime. But anyway, getting back to this. And so that's where it's real data of sorts. It's not really randomized, but whatever. So I did the best I could. You could do something, probably a better job than this. So you've got all of this data here. So the claim, though, where is the claim? Where is the claim? Is there a claim? Oh yeah, so here, this should say Excel. Okay. Oh yeah, claim that, oh, they have the same. Okay, that's it. Is that the mu sub, what are these? PG. Mu G. You could use mu 1, mu 2, mu 3, and mu 4. But this is really the claim. Mu sub PG 13 is equal to mu sub R. Okay, so that's the claim. It's a little bit of a pain because I'm going to have to copy this, and I don't want to, so I'm just going to do this. That is also the null hypothesis, because null hypothesis is usually that things are equal to one another. So that's going to be the null hypothesis. The alternative hypothesis is that at least one of the average is different. I really don't like that language, but that's the way that Newton does it, so I guess we're stuck with it. I much prefer saying the more accurate thing, that at least two of the averages differ from one another, which is slightly different philosophically or mathematically than this. But anyway, let's go on. Test statistic. So this is right up here. It's the F statistic. So when you're doing your homework for Monday and you use, oh yeah, we should go over at least one more of the analysis of variance. So we'll do that in just a minute. But if you're using Excel, you're going to be looking for this F statistic because Newton loves the F statistic, or loves to ask you this question. So that's going to be 4.599, which is F, we can call it. P-value, look, it's labeled. Come on, how hard can it be? 0.006. Okay, I don't even know what alpha is, but that p-value is so low that I'm going to be confident that it's less than alpha. Yeah, alpha is 0.05. What's that? Yeah, 5%. So this is way lower. Generally, alpha is not less than 1% usually, but so we're rejecting this null hypothesis. And then the conclusion is that there is evidence to suggest that at least one of the averages, average lengths, is different. As with all of these, so every hypothesis test that you have on the test next week, here's what I'm looking for. So to be honest, this is actually how I do it, because there's 24 of you. That's really actually pretty small. Like in the old days, I used to have 40 in a stats class. I don't know why this class is so small, but yeah, there's plenty of room. We could have had 48 in here. But anyway, here's what I look for, because I have so many to read usually, so I've just trained myself to do this, is I'm looking for this phrase. So something like this. Now, of course, if you fail to reject the null hypothesis, then there is not enough evidence. So something like that, and usually it's going to be very similar to this. So I'm looking for this. You got to take your phone call. No, 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 take your phone call. And then, so I'm looking for that phrase, and then I kind of just sort of fade out a little bit, or zone out, and I just look over the rest of this and make sure that it says something that looks like the alternative hypothesis. Now, as far as analysis of variance goes, the alternative hypothesis is going to be something like this. At least one of the averages is different, or there's a difference between the averages, whatever. As long as it says something that refers to in plain English, refers to the alternative hypothesis, which is this right here, I'll be happy. Whew. Okay, so yes, sir. Oh yeah, no, I hate that. Oh yeah, I get really angry when people do that. You're going to use symbols with the conclusion? No, no. Conclusion is supposed to be a sentence. I mean, this is the very smallest thing that you have to do. So yeah, write it out. Yeah, if you use H sub A, so think of it this way. You're trying to communicate to your roommate who has no idea what a hypothesis test is. You're trying to communicate to them what this does. And you could say, well, there isn't evidence, or no, there is evidence to suggest that at least one of the classifications has a different average than the others, or something like that. So if you think of it as you're trying to communicate with your roommate who happens to be an art major, nothing bad, I love art majors, but if there's, just think of it that way. You want to just say it in plain English. If you say H sub A, they're going to be like, what is this? Ha, 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 ha? I don't know. So there it is. Anything else? Other questions, concerns? All right, I didn't get this. I should have, let me just grab this really quick. Well, because I wasn't thinking I was going to do Newton, but I realized that you don't have your Newton until Monday. So let's pull this baby over here so we can all enjoy looking at it. Hold on a sec, there it is. And here's what you want. And we want to manage this thing. So on Monday, you have two different homeworks, I believe. Is that right? Yeah, you have these two. So analysis of variance basics, that's easy stuff. You're not going to have problems with that. It's this one I want to make sure that we get. So let's just preview this baby as a student, and then we'll see how you do this. So just a quick review, just to remind you, and you could always watch. I am recording, yes. It's recording, so if you need to, you can always pull this up and watch it at double speed, or just go fast forward to the part where we're doing this, just to remind you how to do this particular thing on Excel. So you don't need your Excel right now. I'll just do that. I just wanted to show you how this is done. So here's this sort of a question that you're going to have. Okay, blah, blah, blah. College administrator, I suppose we should actually read this. Is interested to compare the average GPA for students at 3 colleges in a certain city. Okay, so use 5%. Okay, so we want to say all of the means are equal. That's the null hypothesis. And then the alternative is that at least one is different. Very similar to what we had on your quiz. They're all the same, or at least one is different. And if you do this for me on the exam, I'm happy with this. So notice that this is a little different than what I have on the quiz. So the quiz I have spelled out mu1, mu2, mu3, but this is totally fine like this. Anyway, so that's not the thing that I wanted to focus on. I wanted to get to the Excel stuff, because that's the one. Here we go. So what I'd suggest you do when you get to the Excel stuff, I don't think we did one from Newton yesterday. You're going to copy this stuff to clipboard, and if that doesn't work, you can always download the comma separated value file, which you can open in Microsoft Excel. So grab your Excel, and here we are. And remember, you have to have Excel on your computer. This doesn't work with the web version of Excel. It doesn't work with the iPad version of Excel. Sorry, you're going to have to borrow Jesus's computer or someone else's. But anyway, so paste this thing in here. What is this? I don't think I care about that. Okay. Anyway, paste it in there. What is that? Something. Document recovery. I must have shut down. Let's just close this. I don't know what it is. Let's close. There it is. Okay. So we've got our colleges. Very nice, isn't it? So now all that you have to do to do your data, the analysis of variances, click on data, the data tab. And we went over last time how to get this data analysis to pop up here. If it's not there, you need to do whatever it takes. Go watch the video and get it on your computer. If you have a Macintosh, I think I put a link on our thing there. Okay, so we're using the single factor analysis of variance. And then it asks you for the input range. So you can just highlight this entire thing. There we go, we've highlighted. And then let's see, labels are in the first row. Alpha doesn't really matter. Output range, I'm going to stick this thing right here. And this is going to look very much like the output that is on the quiz that's sitting in front of you. So you have this thing, there it is, where you have each of the groups. You have the averages, the variances, standard deviations is just the square root of the variance. So this looks like these are really pretty tight. You know, these variances are super small. Okay, so here's the important stuff though. You have the F statistic, which is 0.59. I'm just going to copy that and stick it over here because it says test statistic. I should probably figure out how many digits because it's not going to like me. 2 decimal places? Really? I've got 8. All right, give me a sec here. 2 decimal places. It goes back to here. And the p-value is surprisingly large, 0.555. I'm just going to type that. 0.56. Let's see if it likes me. I hope it does, because then we can move on. Did it work? Oh, I nailed it. Good. Okay. Perfect. Your hard work is paying off. Okay, so I just wanted okay, and then they have a conclusion here, which I'm just going to cheat on. But notice that the conclusion is similar to what we just wrote. Here we failed to reject the null hypothesis because the p-value is so big. And then there is not enough evidence to, oh, interesting. Well, that's a weird way of putting it. Yeah, that looks really strange, but yeah, whatever. Oh, interesting, yeah. Really? What in the world? This feels like, wow. I don't know that I care enough, but something's not right. I've done this through the semester when I've encountered things like this. I do this, and I actually get emails back saying, thanks, we fixed your problem. So the answers given do not match the scenario in the stem of the problem. How's that? Let's see. So GPA is not the same thing as housing prices. Yeah, this is just, yeah, it's just Newton saying, oh, you got to worry about housing again. So, yeah, interesting. Yeah. Yeah, by the way, it's double. You take whatever house you can get here, double the price. It's what the price is down there. Okay, well, anyway, submit this. Yeah, there it is, continue. And I got to worry about my mother-in-law. She has to live with us now. Yeah, that's another problem. Yeah, get that flaming torch. Okay, so so that's it for this. I just wanted one more of how this works. So hopefully you don't have any issues, but if you do, here's what we're going to do. So Monday is going to be a little bit different. So first off, I need to show you this. Give me a sec. Here, grab our stats. So I have online practice exams. And this is an oldie but a goodie. So this is the final exam study sheet. I've also got it on my iPad, which I'll show you in a minute. And then you have the one with the embedded answers. Now, if you have downloaded both of those, if you downloaded them before now, if you downloaded them before right now, you need to go back and re-download this one. Because this morning I found not an error, there were no mistakes, but I realized that there was some wording that was a little different than the way we've done it this semester. And so I corrected that wording. You'll see some little redaction bubbles or whatever. So yeah, here, I'll just click on it to show you. So if yours doesn't have that, see my little bubble or little, I just blacked out the wording. So I just changed a couple of things. Not a big deal, but I just didn't want you to lose your mind as you're looking at the answers. So anyway, I have those things. One last thing, just to head this off at the pass so that we don't have to have this question come up 1,000 times. And that is that when you, okay, here it is. Yeah, here it is on my iPad. So it's Thursday, May 1st at 7:50 a.m. Here is our final exam. We'll talk about Monday in a minute, don't worry. But just so that we can avoid 1,000 people asking the same question, where is it? There it is. So number 5, when you get to it, I was too lazy to fix this on the practice test, but this here, when you see that, see Pareto chart? That's just a bar chart. So I pulled this out of my files. Like I said, it's just an old version. And so that is a bar chart. Just so you know, when you get to that one, bar chart, you can make a bar chart. It's actually a fancy bar chart. It's a bar chart where you arrange things from biggest to smallest, but who cares? It's still a bar chart. It's a bar chart. So just think bar chart when you get to that. So there's that. So what are we going to do Monday, you might ask? Well, on Monday is an optional day. So you might be sleeping. In fact, I suspect many of you will be sleeping. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be here to help you out with this and to help you out with homework and whatever else you need to catch up on. So here's what I'd like you to do before Monday is you need to decide if you need to be here. Now, I might email some of you if you haven't done projects, for example. I just finally did Baby Project 1. So some of you have emailed me and said, oh, I just submitted Baby Project 2. Well, yeah, I'm just as behind as you are. So finally did that. There were a couple of you who chose not to do Baby Project 1. So if you chose not to do it, you might want to come Monday. I can help you, or maybe do it over the weekend. Let me know if you do it so I can go change your grade. So Monday, let me write this down somewhere so that you know what to expect. Oh yeah, there's this too. Here we go. So what are we doing Monday? Monday is optional. Back in the olden days, Monday of finals week was called reading day, and we actually had people just study. That's what it was. So Monday is optional because some of you don't need to be here. So here's what? No, for my class. No. Your advanced biology class, they're definitely meeting Monday, and they're going to have a full class. But you have to talk to each. Yeah, don't use me as some sort of example, because I hate that when a student comes to me and says, "Hey, Professor X, they're skipping class on Monday, so can you?" Yeah, don't do that to your other professors. Because just be thankful if they say, "Oh yeah, today's yeah." They aren't going to say it's optional. They're going to say be here, or we're going to get an F. Okay, but anyway, Monday optional. So what are we going to do on Monday? Number 1, we're going to worry about homework. So I want you to get your homework done, because I hate it when I have to, at the end of, see what happens is at the end of the semester, I go in there, it's not automatic. So you might have a skewed view of what your homework grade is right now. I go in there and everything that you didn't do on Newton, I change it manually to a 0. It's a pain for me, but it's also painful for you because some students' grades go down a full letter grade when I do this little procedure at the end of the semester. So go look through the homework and find those homeworks you're struggling with and come in on Monday and sit down next to me and I will help you do the homework. Number 2, any projects that you have to do. And like I said, projects. There are 2 of you who chose not to do Baby Project 1, and you can come in here and sit down and I'll point and I'll tell you click there and I'll help you do it, because there's going to be 3 people here. From experience, I know how this goes. Only 3 of you, the rest of you are going to be sleeping. That's fine. No judgment. So number 2 is projects. Number 3 is test. So the test. Now, normally, I got to be honest with you, typically this class, the 8 o'clock class, in the old days, it was the very first final. every semester. I was really surprised, to be honest, that it's almost one of the last finals. But so the test, if you have questions about the practice test and so on, that's what we're going to be doing Monday. One last thing before we finish. I know you're looking at the clock thinking we're done. Yeah, you're going to go get a second breakfast in just a few minutes. But the last thing to note is, yeah, what was I going to say? Now I've lost myself. Oh, I know. Okay, it's the test. That's right. Yeah. So at least one of you has told me that you're not taking the test on Thursday because you don't want to be here on Thursday. I don't remember why. I don't care why, but you need to remind me. So if you're not going to be here, not Thursday, question mark, then see me, remind me. Otherwise, oh yeah, and you probably already know how to deal with this is, I don't know, someone, yeah, now, yeah, it's all coming back to me. Someone's going to take it on Tuesday? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, see me, whoever you are. That one person who said you're going to take it. Yeah, because I have other tests. I have a test on Tuesday at 10 o'clock in this room. Wait a minute, do I have one? Yeah, see me. I'll give you the options. And you can always do it in the testing center. That's totally fine. So if you have a conflict or whatever the issue is, come see me before you leave today or email me, because otherwise I'm going to forget and then you're going to be sad. All right, any other questions, concerns, fears, worries? We got it all set? We got it. You want to do something. I don't know. I got to look at my notes. Yeah, you wait a minute. We'll find out. So, all right. Well, stick around if you want.